What is going on, guys? Welcome to the next volume review out of the second one out of three, basically, for volume 9 of The Promised Neverland. So I'll do a review for this and then I'll do volume 10 after. So I'll be talking about chapters 71 to 79 in this video. So yeah, it's just basically volume 9, the continuation of the Goldie Pond arc, and this is where everything pretty much ramps up. A lot of shit happens in this volume, very content packed. You get answers to some questions and some questions are asked with also a bit of action. Basically the perfect volume, all you can ask for from this series. Big fan of this arc. Like I said in the last one, I cannot wait for the conclusion of volume 11. I hope it does the arc justice and I hope it's ended in a nice way. So yeah, I'll just get straight into it. So you spend the first kind of bit of this volume, about this much of it, finding out about William and Minerva. So before getting into that, just one thing I want to compliment the series for, as if I don't compliment it enough, is just the way that it kind of builds up its layers. It keeps, as the story goes on, kind of adding layers and adding elements to the story and ideas and just plot points, but at the same time it's kind of removing layers that have outstayed its welcome and lived its usefulness. Like these William and Minerva like plot lines and stuff have been there kind of from the beginning and have helped them get out of Gracefield and stuff like that. But I think that and they've kind of helped it through this arc as well. They helped to meet the geezer and people like that, and also helped to get to Goldie Pond. But I think that's enough help from him, and it was a nice way to kind of wrap up with him revealing a bit more about Goldie Pond, about it being like a lift to the outside world of the human world, basically, and that even a human was working with the owner of Goldie Pond as well, and the way that that's tied into the Norman stuff is quite cool as well. So one thing I have to compliment the series for is it does a very good job of kind of adding layers onto its story, while also taking away layers so that there's not a lot to focus on, allowing kind of the main plot points to be very well told and well threaded together. So because there's not so many things to be focused on at one time, and I kind of like that, because you can tell that the series isn't going to be too long. I feel like it will go for probably another 2 or 3 arcs after this, and then that will be it. I'm hoping it won't go past 25, 26 volumes, because the series doesn't need to do that. It can be a short series and still be very, very good. There's a lot of cases where series outstay their welcome because they decrease in quality. The writer loses ideas, motivation. It just generally gets old. You can see that in series like Bleach or in Dragon Ball Z, where Toriyama didn't want to write the final arc. He was done after Cell, but Shonen Jump basically forced him to continue it just for one more arc. So going off on a tangent there, I just wanted to say that fantastic story, kind of threading and plotting by Shiro. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'll just let you see it. And also, as usual, very good art in the volume as well. So yeah, I'll just get straight into it. So the William and Minerva stuff, I enjoyed it. What I did like about it is that it wasn't a massive thing. Like, although it's important and it will definitely help them escape, it wasn't some big thing that immediately helps them and will kind of make it so easy for them to do everything for the rest of the series, because that's not really what the series is about. It's more about finding a way in all the difficult times and the darkness, to try and find some glimmer of light to help them. And William and Minerva, for a very long time in the series, was that light. And I think that he's passed that on now to Emma through this conversation that they had, even though he's been dead for many years. But, or from what we know, he's been dead for many years. He's kind of passed that on to Emma now, and Emma's supposed to be the light that guides everyone to some sort of sanctuary in the human world. And I kind of like how humans been intertwined with the William and Minerva stuff. It kind of adds a little bit of personality to the villains a bit more, because obviously there's reasons behind what he's done, and I feel like that character will be explored a bit more, especially linked in with the Norman stuff. So I do see him being a main focus of the next arc, but he's implemented quite well here, as well as the rest of the William and Nerva stuff. It obviously means a lot for Emma and for Lucas, because they've been searching for so long for this help from William and Nerva, and he's done a good job. So this is the human that I'm talking about here, the brother to William and Nerva, I believe. Yeah, so the way that everything tied together from the first volume up until now was very good. Questions answered. William and Nerva stuff really good, but also some questions asked, and those questions are asked about the fact that Norman is still alive. Now this really got me. I kind of had an inkling that he was still alive because I believe on one of the future covers, 13, he's with Ray and Emma, but I didn't know if that was just like a spiritual thing or what, but I was still really surprised to see Norman just come back out of nowhere in this volume. It was a pleasant surprise, obviously, because I think Norman had a lot more to be explored, and it'll be quite interesting to see him being explored further. I probably would have preferred it at the end of the arc as opposed to just kind of lodged here in the middle, but I can kind of understand why it was, because it ties into the William and Nerva stuff. Sorry about that. So yeah, as I was saying, it links into the arc with Minerva quite well, but depending on how the arc ends, I might have a different opinion of whether the Norman stuff should have been added on to the end, but right now I kind of believe that it should have. So you get past all that Norman stuff with him still being alive, and you've got about this much remaining of the volume, and it's basically all action, them carrying out their plans to take down the people that own Gordy Ponds, all the assassins and stuff. So another thing I like about this volume, or this arc in general, is that it's perfectly, I think there's a perfect balance between them, the kids that are already there, and our characters that we already know, Emma for example, and Ray later on, have learned a lot about the world and the demons and stuff, so they're taking them down easier. Obviously the first time they saw them they were scared and fearful and couldn't move and shaking and all that stuff, but now they're more adept to the situations with them and know their weaknesses and stuff, but they're not so overpowered where they're just taking them down in one shot. There are still stakes. These aren't just random like bad guys in a video game where they're just easily taken down. Every single one of these monsters is a threat. That's why they have to go to teams of 3 and 4 to take them down, because they are still very powerful. And I like how they've kept their scariness. They're not useless monsters now, you know. They've kind of kept their scariness, but at the same time, they're not so impossible to defeat that the kids have no chance, because obviously they've been through these situations, especially the kids that are already in Gordy Pond have experienced the assassins already and stuff. So I just think that they come together well, and there's a nice balance there, because that's something difficult to do. You want to make sure that your villains are still, they've kept their threat that they've maintained throughout the series, but are not so impossible where it's ridiculous to defeat them. And you want to show progress from your characters getting used to fighting them, basically, and I think that that's done well through these first couple of fights. You don't really see them fight too many of the demons this time. You focus mostly on the twin demons, and the guy with all the like servants and stuff. So that was quite cool. And it does definitely carry weight to it. I'm a big fan of all the kids that are in Gordy Pond. They're all really cool, and just the stakes are very high. And you can tell the stakes are very high, and that deaths will definitely come to some of the characters. And I just think that this last page is just badass. Emma by herself, ready to face this demon, basically, this godlike creature who looks absolutely sick. It's just cool, and I just think that it's done a great job of ramping up this arc. Obviously Emma's not going to be able to take him down by herself, but she thinks she has the communicative skills to kind of hold some time out and stuff like that, and obviously you see a little bit of that in the next volume, but this one in particular, it's got to be a solid 5 out of 5 volume. Got to give it those max marks, which I don't really give too often, but or maybe I give them maybe I do give them too often, but for me personally, it's just this series continues to be amazing. Depending on its conclusion, I do honestly see it becoming my favorite manga and overtaking Naruto. But I just think because it's reasonably early days in the series, I can't really say that right now. But depending on the last couple of arcs in the series, it can definitely overtake it. I just think that it's brought so much to the manga community and with its unique ideas and stuff that it's just, I don't know. For me, I mean, obviously everyone has a different take on the manga and might view it differently, but it does everything that I want in a manga perfectly. And I think what's better is it does everything I didn't even know I needed well as well. So that's just my take on the manga in general, and this volume in particular, amazing. Now I'm going to do volume 10 after this. Hopefully you guys enjoy these reviews. Be a while for volume 11 that comes out in a couple of weeks. So I'll try and pre-order that and get that here. I'm planning to do volume reviews for Vigilantes as well, because that's another series that I enjoy as well, along with My Hero. So yeah, if there's any other series you want to see volume reviews for, just let me know. I'm thinking about maybe doing Harry Ride volume reviews as well, just as something different, because I don't really read too much shoujo. But this volume will go up there now, and I'll get ready for the next volume review. Other than that, have a great day, and peace.